The only thing that ever really frightened me during the war was the U-boat peril.
The bomb saved millions of lives from what is considered the deadliest war of all time, World War II. People like Alan Turing and Gordon Welshman broke the barrier created by the German Enigma code, saving the Allies from being starved into submission.
World War II, known as the bloodiest war fought in history, cost the Allied forces millions in money, assets, and lives, both civilian and military. They say that Germany almost won the war because of the battles fought by the German U-boats, attacking both military establishments and civilian ships that were supposedly bringing supplies from the United States to the Allied forces, historically like the Lusitania. The Allied forces knew that even though they were fighting a war on land, they could not win because of the covert war at sea.
The German U-boats were submarines equipped with torpedoes, which moved in groups called wolf packs and attacked enemy ships manned by the Allied forces that were traveling in convoys to protect each other. They would strike meticulously in multiple groups such that the Allied ships were left defenseless. The Allied forces tried in vain to figure out how these U-boats knew where their ships were. They could not understand how these submarines were getting accurate intelligence about their locations, even though it was top secret. At the heart of the German communication systems was Enigma, a machine the size of a typewriter which generated a random code upon the pressing of a key. These codes could be sent in greater than 159 million permutations and combinations. These codes were radioed via various command posts until they reached the designated U-boat team. Their special code books and Enigma devices were used to decipher the message and carry out precise orders.
The Allied forces sent many expeditions to find the U-boats. They finally captured a few U-boats with the Enigma machines, lists, and codebooks, but they still did not understand how it worked. It took them a long time to identify how to break the barrier. They tried to find the right crew that would decipher the Enigma machine. Even if they did, the code changed every day, and the cryptographers could not break the new code fast enough to save another location. As time went on, the Allied forces kept losing men and assets, and the problem became bigger in magnitude.
Probably the most important thing which came out of Ultra, we were still breaking then, was that it was realized so early that we were in a hopeless position.
Great Britain finally realized that it would take a machine to break the barrier posed by another machine. It reached out to a group of chess masters, crossword experts, and mathematicians to try to solve this problem. They established a top-secret lab at Bletchley Park, about 20 miles from London, codenamed Ultra by Sir Winston Churchill, reflecting its importance.
This team included mathematicians such as Alan Turing and Gordon Welshman. Turing was a mathematical genius, an introvert who found it difficult to work with the group of eccentric geniuses. He met with Gordon Welshman, a brilliant mathematician who was credited with leading and expanding the team at Hut 6. Welshman also came up with the idea of traffic analysis, or the collection and analysis of intelligence transfer between enemy locations. They toiled for many months with their group to build a machine the size of a large cabinet. Welshman worked with Turing to enhance the machine to decipher the codes 100 times faster. Thus, making it an indispensable weapon that led to the Allied victory.
Sometimes it's the people no one imagines anything of, who do the things that no one can imagine.
The design was borrowed and named for an earlier machine, the Bombe, that was invented by a Polish scientist, Marian Rajkowski, 6 years earlier. The Bombe, as it was called, was a machine that used a number of menus and lists comprising of approximately 36 Enigma machines themselves. It worked with the aid of a few computer operators that connected alphabets with wires. Thus, modern code breaking was born.
When the bomb first appeared, it was manned, if you'll excuse the expression, by men. And they didn't think women could do it. But when they introduced women, they ended up with having nothing but women. I must say, the first time I saw the bomb, I was appalled. They had a height which you had to be or you couldn't work here, and I was under that height, as I later discovered. So they supplied me with a little wooden plank which went along the front of the bomb.
Like any new technology, though, its first messages were ignored, and the Royal Navy lost thousands of officers and men to the German U-boats. This was all due to the skeptical relationship between codebreakers at Bletchley Park and naval admirals. Fortunately, their critical importance was realized when a message about the location of the pride of the German fleet, Bismarck, was intercepted and led to it being destroyed. The following month, after receiving crucial codebooks from sunken U-boats, the team at Bletchley Park, Hut 6, was able to locate all the submarines that supplied and fueled the German U-boats, an essential victory.
By the end of the war, the bomb was being used by the Allied forces to intercept Navy and air warfare messages. This was a crucial part of the war front that the Germans did not expect to be attacked from. Thus, it broke a major barrier that stood in the way of the Allied forces.
In 1945, Turing received an OBE for services to the Foreign Office, though the real reason for this honour remained top secret for another 30 years, long past Turing's death.
Throughout the war and for decades later, these scientists were not allowed to speak about their work even to their families, and most of them took the secret to their graves, thus depriving them of their due credit during their lifetime. These men and women who saved millions of lives are now widely celebrated.
You are history shapers, and your example serves as an inspiration to the intelligence community today, as they continue the vital work to protect the people of this country. For your many achievements, I give my heartfelt thanks on behalf of an eternally grateful nation.
Alan Turing was memorialized in the popular biopic The Imitation Game. He is also credited as the father of modern computing and is the face on the 50-pound bill, released in July 2019 with an appropriately enigmatic quote from Turing.
This is only a foretaste of what is to come, and only the shadow of what is going to be.
The bomb was the basis of several computer labs and scientists that led to the technological wonderland which we live in and often take for granted. It also gave birth to the field of cryptanalysis and cybersecurity.
The bomb helped save more than 21 million lives and shortened the war by almost 2 years.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.